Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits episode 143. Grab your cuppa, grab your knitting, and let's talk about knitting. And I'm hoping that you will like this video, subscribe, and tell a friend. Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name's Penny. I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, a YouTube podcaster, and an Instagrammer. Thank you so much for coming back each time. If you are returning visitors to, to my knitting channel, and if you're new, welcome, and I hope that you will come back to our community and spend some time with us. So I've got lots of things to talk to you about. First of all, it is Monday, July 14th. It is in the afternoon in Central Illinois. It's about 85 degrees. The sun is shining. I was out on the front porch this morning. It was so nice. It was quiet and bright, about 6-ish, and not a whole lot of traffic out there, hearing the birds. And I spent some time looking at a reading that I do every day and just enjoying and choosing some joy for the week. I'm kind of trying to do that, start my mornings each morning with documenting some sort of what I'm choosing joy of first thing in the morning, because I know how difficult it can be at times. And so that's kind of how I started my morning, and that's the weather report for you all. I understand in Illinois we're going to get some rain the latter part of the week, and maybe a little bit cooler temps. But you know what? It's Illinois, so we're just going to wait and find out. So, fun. I'm super excited about a couple of things. I am excited about that. In just a little over a week, come Thursday, it will be a week. We will all be heading towards Hoffman Estates for Kendra and I's second annual Makers Meetup, and we're just excited as everybody else is about coming. We have so much fun. It's a weekend of knitting and crafting and making all across the gamuts of everything: cross stitch, crochet, needlepoint, weaving, whatever. Or if you just want to sit and enjoy and meet new friends, a little bit of shopping. People will go out to eat, and then we'll come back to the 2 conference rooms that we have. There'll be snacks that everybody brings, and oh, it's just a wonderful time. And Kendra and I, are so excited for it to be coming around again. And we are looking forward to that. I also want to say that the next episode that I do, which will be the Wednesday after the Makers Meetup, will be one via Zoom with Kendra, where we'll talk about the weekend and just kind of catch up here and there. So I hope you can join us for that one as well. I have a couple of things, just administration, to talk about. I have 2 bags that were some giveaways. One has been quite some time ago, and the other one in the last maybe 6 weeks. And I've not heard from either of those people who are the winners of the bags, at least not via any kind of mechanism with their address and last name. So if you are one of those 2 and you thought you were going to get a bag and you did not get a bag yet, would you either send me or resend me your first and last name along with your mailing address? And if you could send that to pjknitspodcast@gmail.com, that would be great. That I will not miss. But if I haven't heard by the time we get back from the Makers Meetup with that information for those last 2, I'm going to give them away in a future episode. So wanted to tell you that. It is also the end of the quarter of mistletoes in the PJ Knits Ravelry group for the socks, and I pulled a winner for that. The winner is post number 231. It was knee socks by Lacy Babe. Peggy knit these wonderful knee socks. She is Peggy is a friend, a local friend as well, and she does some amazing things. So Peggy, I know that you are not quite back from your trip yet, or you're en route, and it may be a while before you see this, but when you do, just give me a shout out and let me know what sock pattern you'd like for that second quarter. And to be entered, all you have to do for the next quarter is put your finished socks in the mistletoes thread on the PJKnits Revelry group, and I choose a winner at the end of each quarter for a new sock pattern of your choice, because I want you to inspire me to get back to my sock knitting for sure. So I have my list that I've started for shopping at when we go, and I'm not quite sure what my second one on here was all about. So I'm going to have to do some research. It was for some yarn. I'm like, what was that originally for? I'm not quite sure. And the other thing is I want some long fixed size 4 Chiagoos for Magic Loop. I don't, as a rule, I do not do Magic Loop, but I want those for my muscle burl hats for that increases and decreases. I'm going to give that a whirl. But I generally am a DPN person, and I think that might be a little bit easier just to cast on and then head on to the DPN. So that's what's on my list, and I'm wondering if you all have things on your list. So let's get into some knitting. First of all, summer sweaters from the vault. The ones that I am wearing today are 2 oldie but goodies. The top one that I am wearing, or the first layer, this is the Ombre tank from Espace Tricot. Now, I knit this when it was a free pattern in 2017. Now that the new owners have quite some time ago taken it over, they are selling the patterns because of the pattern support that they have to do for them. And so it is no longer free. It is now called the Ombre Tank Redux, and it's a pay-for pattern, and you can get that on Ravelry from Espace Tricot. My original was done, like I said, it was in 2017 when the previous owners had the shop, and they did a podcast, and they enabled me, and of course I had to buy the yarn from them that they had knitted out of. And this was a new to me yarn back then, and this is the Habu Textiles Sumugi silk, I believe, and I did it on a size 5 needle, and I bought the actual yarn that they made it out of because I wanted to duplicate it. And I'm just going to stand up real quick so you can kind of see that, the whole effect. But I love this one. And it was a fade, of course, back in the day, and it was on the spools at the time, and I love this. It comes down just where I want it to be. I'm wearing shorts today, and as I put this on today, I thought this is a great one to wear on the way home, the travel day home from the Makers Meetup with my shorts. So I'm going to pack it for the return trip. So that was this was it, and all of the things that I always show you, I will put down in the show notes, and I will also do a link to my project page because I have all the details on the tank there. And also then, this is probably I can't even tell you how long ago this was. I knit it in 2017. But I bought the yarn way before that. It had to have been 2015, 2014. Our local group of knitwits used to go on a February trip, within like 4 hours. And we would stay the weekend somewhere in a house, get a house or hotel rooms, and we would go to the local shops. And at the time, it was the Knitting Tree in Wisconsin. And this was Rowan Pure Life Revive, which has been since discontinued. But the story behind the yarn itself was there was a vest they had at the shop, and the only way you could get the pattern is if you bought the yarn. And so I bought this Rowan Revive then, and with full intentions of knitting the vest. And I probably started it, as I recall, but then it was like, yeah, it just other things, other pretties came into my viewfinder, and so I didn't knit on it. So in 2017, when I knit the ombre tank, I was not wearing sleeveless then, even then. And so I thought I wanted to make this for fun. I figured I could wear some sort of denim sweater or t-shirt, shirt over it to go over the tank. And as luck was having it, after it was finished, I was laying it out, and I'm like, I have this Rowan Revive that I never knit the vest out of, and as luck would have it, it goes perfectly with the colors that are in my tank. So I knit this. This is number 221. It's the Summer Cardigan. It's a Knitting Pure and Simple pattern by Diane Susie. And I'd had this in my library forever. This is when we had to buy hard copy patterns. If you remember the Knitting Pure and Simple patterns at the time, they were on gold paper in a sleeve with a picture on it. And so I have a collection of a lot of the Knitting Pure and Simple patterns, but I knit this Summer Cardi is what it's called. And I believe it has buttons on it, but I left the buttons off because I just wanted something super, super plain. I can tell you that I knit the size 44 out of it. At the time, it was a little bit larger. And it was 4, 5, and 6 needles, and probably 4 rib, and then maybe increasing. But again, it has the colors in it. It has lots of flex in it, and it really is comfortable. And I forget about it so often. I forget about pulling it out and wearing it, but I just love it with the ensemble. It goes really fun. Has rib both places, all the way around. I lengthened my sleeves as I am wont to do. And back to this one, if you can see, it just has a rolled hem. Everything is kind of rolled on it, and you can see where there's the increases and it went down as well. So the ensemble I really do love. And again, those things you bring out of the vault and all of a sudden you remember and you're like, why don't I wear that more often? So that is the sweater this time, this episode from the vault. Now, I just want to call your attention to something fun that I realized that matched and went really well with this. I have this necklace on. And this was left on my door with some other knitted related jewelry 2 or 3 Christmases ago. And it was a gift from my childhood school friend. I went to grade school with her, junior high with her, and high school. And we lived in the same town. We lived, I guess. Her name was Jerry. And she left these on my front porch one Christmas Eve and said, hey, she was making jewelry at the time. And even though we were in the same town all these years, we never, really never got together. But I knew she was here and she knew I was. And again, this was a childhood friend. And so she left these fun things for me. And the thing I want to say is 2 things. We just had our 50th reunion, high school reunion, 2 weeks ago. I did not go, but and Jerry did not go. Jerry actually unexpectedly at the end of last year, beginning of this year, unexpectedly passed away with no issues, no symptoms. And it was sad because she was fun and she was laughter and she was everything. And so when I saw this, it goes so well with the ensemble today. I had to put it on, and I wanted to just, I just wanted to mention Jerry, because I felt so bad that we hadn't connected more being in town. She had a friend that she would kick over to me every once in a while on Facebook that also was a knitter crocheter. And when there was something fun on Facebook, she would post it to both of us. You know, one of those fun things where there's slippers made out of balls of yarn or whatever. So I had to mention that, you know, just one of those things, again, that just brings me joy and great memories. I'm sad for her family. I'm sad for all of us, but I'm sad for her family that it was so unexpected. But anyway, moving on. From that is this whole story about the ensemble and the jewelry for sure. So if I know I didn't say this before, but you probably want to grab your knitting and grab, you know, a cuppa. And while this goes on. Okay, so I've got lots of KORN knitting on right now to show you. And so I hope that you will bear with me and have a little fun with it. So first up, I want to mention I have a lot of knitting, and it's going to be so obvious as I continue on here. But the first one I want to talk about is I want to show you my progress on Heavenly Heathers. I have got to get on the stick on this thing. There's a lot of knitting to this. Heavenly Heathers comes out of the 60 More Quick Baby Blanket book, I believe. I have two things. I have a hospice blanket going in here. And maybe it's not out of this one. Isn't that? You know, you'd think that, oh, no. All right, never mind. Don't listen to anything I said before this. One of those books. Anyway, I have a hospice blanket out of this, and as well as Heavenly Heathers. This is what happens when you have so much. Yep, it's not in this one. Erase that, but it is just the plain 60 quick blankets. And so anyway, this particular blanket, let's just move on. It's called Heavenly Heathers. It is done out of Cascade 220. And the last time we were together, this is where I was at. And I have to have this done, blocked, and wrapped by the 9th of August. And after I do a couple of things, I keep saying I'm going to get back to this, but I need to if I want to have it done in time. So here is the progression. It's a graduation blanket for my great nephew. And it's all out of Cascade 220, the washable one. Snoopy is where I was at, and this is what I've accomplished, and I really need to get moving on it. Because he's a tall young man, and so I want it to be long enough. These are the colors of the new school of the college that he's going to be going to up in Minnesota. So I'm going to add a navy to it as well for the pinstripe. He's going to play baseball, and so I'm going to add a navy pinstripe one to that as well. But so you see, I may be an eighth of a way, so I got to get moving on that. And work on that a little bit more, but there's so many other pretties that are calling me. So that is the first of my KORN. The next one, this is from another one of those lovely books that I love to collect. This is called Sock Yarn One Skein Wonders, 101 patterns that go way beyond socks. And this is from my library as well, my personal library, let's put it that way. And I am knitting, and this is funny. It started out, and I'll just give you the info. We were talking about this on something else, how we always put our names in everything. And my friend Norma, who has passed away, my good friend, this actually came from her library. It has one of those said tags in there that says that this was from Norma Math. This was in her library, and when she passed away, this is one of the things that I got. But I am working on a scarf out of this. It's the 19th century honeycomb stitch scarf. I needed a little something for a dress that I have to wear, and I had some yarn that a friend gave me, and I found the perfect scarf for it, and it goes really well with the dress that I have. It is the Performa series from Zelana. It is kiwi. It's a fingering weight, and it is out of 40% merino, New Zealand merino, 30% brush tail possum, and 30% organic cotton. And is that not lovely yarn? So I've cast one of those on and I am knitting on it. This will probably be one of those things I take to the meetup to work on because I can do it in public. And we'll just go that way. But meant to go, and it's just going to go as long as I can get it. Meant to be a long scarf to go around a summery dress that I've got. And so I think that would be so fun just to pull around, put a brooch on or tie it, over tie it. But so I am working on that. That is one of my knitting on right now. And again, that's out of one of the books that is now in my library. I'm loving on these kinds of books. This was a story and edited by Judith Durant. So, and there's some fun things in here. You can see from the cover, there's some fun things also. Just super cool. So that's kind of nifty. I think it's kind of nifty. So that is one of my knitting on right now. And then to give you some progress on my Amber that I've been working on. And Amber's kind of making a side, putting aside. I work on it when I'm down at my local yarn shop because that's where I bought the yarn. But it's other than that, it's kind of going by the wayside only there because I have, as you will hear and see pretty soon, a lot of knitting to do. But it is out of the line of Spring Magazine. And it's called Amber. It is by Cheryl Mokhtari. I have shown you this before. I'll probably show you it again. But last time we met, I believe I was down here at the hem, finished out the hem, and I have pulled the sleeve up. This is the back. I am working on the sleeve, and I have deduced that I will be able to make this at least a 3/4 or maybe even a long sleeve. And so that's why I'm not so worried about getting it done right away because I have plenty of time in order to wear that. But I just love this. I'm loving her. I want to check out more of her patterns. It is a cardigan. I've just kind of put it together there, and it's an interesting, it has that fold over banding, which is new to me, and I am going to be doing that for sure. My problem is I have been searching for buttons on it and have not had a lot of luck, which we don't have Joann's anymore, where I used to work many years ago, 35 years ago-ish. We had a great button selection. There's just no fabric stores close to me. I tried Hobby Lobby. I got something. They weren't what I wanted, but I did go online to Mood Fabrics, and I think that I have picked out a good button for it there. So I'm going to just I'm going to order them and see if they work. If they don't, in the meantime, I will do a suggestion that I heard on Chit Chat Knits. Darcy was talking about to go to a thrift shop or antique shop and maybe buy something, and then I'll just cut the buttons off of it. And so I might even do that this week or ish, just to see what's out there, because it's tough, and it's too bad. It's too bad that we don't have a good fabric shop that we can go to. I know there's one in Evanston that I order some fabrics from, which is Vogue Fabrics, but it's not very conducive to where we're going to be at this weekend to go all the way over to check them out. So, so anyway, I'm going to try the antique, thrift shop, Goodwill, whatever. I'm going to try them first, and then if not, then I know I saw some at Mood that I thought will be perfect. For sure. So that is another piece of the KORN. And then another one that I'm working on very diligently right now, or in the last day or two, because it's so much fun and it's going kind of quick, is Sylven by Natasha Hornby. And this will be my last. This will be my last summer sweater for this year. And so I'm making some progress on it. I am using Rowan cotton glacé, and I ordered this from Wool & Company, and making some progress on this, mostly in the last day or two. Saturday, I think I picked it back up because I wanted something a little bit different, and I would love to have this done sooner rather than later. And so I am working I'm just working on the front back and forth. And I love the construction of how she puts this together. I love that, working on that as well. So it'll look better as it progresses. And then it has this lovely lace at the bottom that, sorry about that. So it has this lovely lace, and I'm looking forward to getting it in the round soon. And so it's really kind of my project of choice right now, even though it will become quite obvious here in a minute that I am out of my mind when it comes to my knitting, for sure. So that is one of the things that is the last of the kind of things that is on my needles, KORN right now. And just before I forget, the yarn that I'm using for my Amber is Fiber Space Cumulus. It's an alpaca and silk. And I'm using Sheepgee's Organicon, which is a cotton. I'm using those two together. So I've showed those before, but those are the ones that are in my Amber. So, okay. So I have now a segment that is going to be new to the podcast for the foreseeable future, but we're going to start with some mail calls, something that a couple of these things I have not been showing on the podcast because I was waiting for this particular podcast to do them with. But first of all, a couple of months ago, well, I don't know how to put this, which came before, the chicken or the egg. I bought a book, and this was after, well, I'll just show you the book. Now, I have Arne and Carlos' book, The Christmas Balls, and I've had that for a while. And this was at my local yarn shop, the Fiber Universe. And I saw it and was like, I don't realize that, probably I didn't care that it was there, but this was published in 2018. And so this is one of those books that Aaron had on the shelf. And I'm like, I need that book. I need that book. So I bought it. And the reason I needed that book was, before that, my friend Kendra, that I am hosting Makers Meetup with, and our friend Jelaine, we are going this into this September, part of October, we are going on the Knitting Under the Borealis with Arne and Carlos, their cruise to Norway. We are super, super stoked about this. And so there's going to be this segment going forward until we leave here that I'm going to talk about certain things that I'm doing or thinking about. So let's put it this way. As a kid, backstory. As a kid, I can remember it was grade school, and I was enthralled with these line of countries, the Scandinavian countries, and always wanted to go to Norway. I thought that was the coolest thing. And I thought, someday I'm going to go to Norway. Then I married Bob, the tall guy. And as it is, Bob was a third generation Norwegian and was pretty proud of it. His grandparents both came from Norway to live in the States, spoke fluent Norwegian. We would go to their house and stay, and you could hear them at night laying in their beds talking Norwegian. And which further, I believe in Beshert. I believe that things are meant to be. And I believe that, the universe pushed me towards this whole thing, right? And that it would carry over, into who I married. So anyway, it was always a dream of ours to go to Norway someday and maybe figure out where his grandparents came from, or just enjoy it as well. And he would have loved to do that. So then fast forward many, many years to, the last couple of years, Kendra and I we watched Arne and Carlos on YouTube. We talked about that. And we're like, wouldn't it be fun to go there? Let's maybe think about the trip. Wouldn't those cruises be great? And then all of a sudden, between the two of us, we were like, you know what? We're biting the bullet. Either let's, put up, shut up, and go, or stop talking about it. And so we decided to sign up, and our friend Jelaine is going to go as well. She's local here and a knitter and one of our dear friends. So we're going. We're going. Now, what I'm going to say to you all who are watching this, it has been over, oh my gosh, it's been over 50 years, right? Since I flew long distance. The last time I was 15. I flew to Europe for 6 weeks. At 15, it's much different than when you're at my age, right? And the last plane trip that I actually took was a few years ago, 7, 8 years ago, was to Florida, short hop. So I have not flew and certainly not flown with issues, that develop over time. But anyway, I'm going to ask some things of you, the viewer. Number one, if you're within the sound of my voice and you have went on this fall trip with Arne and Carlos, or you are going on this same trip with us, please reach out and let us know. I'd love to know if you're going. That would be fun, wouldn't it be? I'd also love it if you have been on these trips, what to expect, because, and I don't mean as in, I guess I mean everything, what tips and hints can you give us? Now, I know I've been doing a deep dive, as Kendra has, into all things trips, long haul, luggage and things on YouTube. I follow Travel Tips by Lori. She's a pilot's wife, but she does carry on, and I'm going to do packed luggage, right? And I need new luggage. I need a new suitcase that's lightweight. I have an idea from Leslie Friend of what suitcase to get. And so I'm working through all of that. I'm researching a lot of things in a lot of different ways. I've watched the Arne and Carlos videos, on the Instagram ones, past trips that they've done. One was more in the winter, but I've eyeballed that and like, what are people wearing? What are they taking? All that. But I would love to know, even if you have tips or hints for long haul plane trips, of how to make it through, how to pack for that. Now, the one thing that's kind of nice is, again, I go back to Leslie Friend because she travels a lot, and I have watched some of her videos. And one she just took in the last couple of months, she showed all that she packed for a long trip to Paris. And granted, she's smaller and skinnier than I am, but she had a plan as to maximizing, I think, the wardrobe, as I would say, maximizing the wardrobe, so that, and figuring out colors that all went together. And so I sat down and started thinking, I have to think about ensembles, things that I can wear multiple times, different ways. That's where my brain has been going with all that, and watching Leslie's videos. So I'm getting a lot of information from there. And so I sat down and I made lots of lists, as I do, and trying to figure out what are my color aesthetic. And I was like, this and this, well, I could do this. And then I'm like, but that's not really your color. And so I've narrowed it down to black comfy pants, my blue jeans, because that's just what I am, and my teals, and maybe the blacks and blues. Everything has to kind of coordinate back to that. So I did look at some sweaters that I've got in my wardrobe, and we'll deal with those all in a future episode. We'll talk about that. But so that was my first kind of sort of dive into, I have to make some decisions. I don't make decisions quick. I have to set those things and say, oh, do you like that? No, I don't like that. So then you have to go another direction. So that's kind of the whole mindset. And because I am such a planner and a writer and a journal, I have ongoing for quite some time. Started out with just following other people who were going on other trips, not necessarily in Norway, and started making notes in a notebook that a friend gave me some time ago, and then incorporating this to possible places I'd like to visit if this works out, this trip, right? And so I'm just sharing that from my standpoint, but I have this Norway tab of things that I'm putting in there for Norway, and I'd like to go to Shetland someday and the Faroe Islands, and then packing some from, maybe 10, 15 years ago, a gal that I followed that had some really good ideas of what to take when you're going on long trips where you don't have your wardrobe, or, I travel by car. And so I can take whatever I want with me, right? So, so I've started making some notes in there. So yeah, I'm a planner, probably to there's some word for that. For sure. But anyway, I've started planning on things, and I would love to get some input from you all if you have, if you've been traveling. So now the other thing I've been doing, the next thing is, I've been looking at stuff and reading and watching. And so Kendra turned me on to a book, and so I picked it up. It's Rick Steves' Snapshot Norway. And I've got that. And the thing is, we don't really have to plan a lot because this is a Arne and Carlos trip. There will be excursions and things like that. But I'm reading up on things. I have our agenda, kind of sort of where we're going. And so I can get a feel as to where I want, if there's more information in it. So I purchased this off of Amazon so that I could just become smarter about it, right? I have pulled up Duolingo, and I'm learning a little Norwegian, not as easy as the French is for me. Tak. And hopefully I could say cafe and things like that. So I'm making lists, I'm investigating. And then at Mother's Day, I got the greatest gift. I shouldn't say the greatest gift. I got a wonderful gift picked out by my daughter-in-law, Erin, and it is so much fun to read. It's called A Frog in the Fjord, 1 Year in Norway. And Laura Lou Desjardins, she's from France, and she moved to Norway for a job, and she's documenting it. And I'm learning things about the Norwegians that I never knew before. And so I'm having a lot of fun with this book. I love a hard copy for sure. So I wanted to share this. I'm having a lot of fun with it and learning about Norwegians and in general. It's just super, super fun. So that is one of the kind of the deep dives that I'm doing in prep for the trip, because, it's going to be here before we know it. So then I want to talk about knitting. And probably the question could be, can I get all of this knit before we leave? I'm running out of time, and it's not even August yet. But I got a lot of aspirations to do. And those who know me, I hear you laughing. I know you're going to call me out on this. But that's why Sylven is my last summer sweater. And if you're watching soon, you're going to see that I'm working on fall sweaters, because I think the temp there we'll have some rain in Bergen. It will be maybe 50s-ish, 60, but I am a cold person always. And so I want to be warm. I want to have layers. And so I have some sweaters that I've laid out. I'll show you those in future episodes in this segment, but I just want to show you what I want to knit. And this is not everything. So to start off with, to stay within my color plan, let's talk about my half and half. This is my half and half. Now, this is the one that I have. This one would fall into the colors scheme that I have, should I not get the second one done. That is, so I have a backup plan on as far as that's concerned. And you've seen this one before. I've been working on it forever. And I finally, when we were together last time, okay, down you go. Last time we were together, this is where I was at. And it takes a while to get there, I'll tell you. This is the first first half is complete. And so I have, since we were together on a previous episode when I showed this, I have started the second half. This is in true turquoise, and I would love to have this done. This one's a little bit larger than mine that I originally did, and I was waiting. I wasn't sure if 3 skeins would do it for the one that I added the stitches to, the black. And I have plenty of yarn because I thought I might have to order something different. And that's not the case. There's plenty of yardage to get 20 more stitches on there. So that's where I'm at. This is supposed to be my early morning knitting. But if you saw my Instagram this morning, you can see I'm working on other stuff because I can and because it was a squirrel moment because I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I would love to take that with me. That is my whole plan, is to take that on the airplane with me. That is my pillow. That is my blanket. That is a wrap for on the trip. And just, you can sit on it if you have to. So that's kind of my plan, is to either take this one or have this one done in time. Now, my next dream knitting is, this is a yarn that I have had for several months, not shown it on Instagram, not shown it here, but this would be adding to PYS, but this is something I would like to have done. This is it's Onling, and it's Onling number 1. It's super soft wool and Angora, and it's a DK worsted. I really wanted a dark teal. I thought about, I wanted a dark teal. And then I should have, in hindsight, I should have bought black. But in between thinking I should have bought black, I had already ordered the navy, thinking the ensemble would be blues and navy, and I'd leave out the teal. And so I'm not ordering another one. I am fully engaging with navy, and goes with blue jeans, and it goes with black if I want to. So here is the yarn. And I ordered it directly from Onling. And then this particular one was an enable from Leslie Friend again, of a friend to knit with. If you don't watch her podcast, please do follow her on Instagram. She seems like she is such a nice person, and I just love watching her. But anyway, she did a pattern called Hello Friend. And those of you who have seen the episodes way back last year, you saw that I did not have success with the first one that I knit. I did not like the yarn that I was using. And that's when I thought, I'll just buy new. And so here is the vest that I'm knitting out of the Onling. And I thought this is a perfect one, as she styled over a white shirt, with my dark blue jeans, or I have some little mock tanks, turtlenecks rather. I have, even over a t-shirt to keep, your body warm. So that is one of the hope to knits before I go to Norway. And then next up, I am auditioning. I have already knit this twice, once for me, once for my daughter-in-law. The one that I knit for me, I have gifted on to somebody because it fit them better than me. But it's another one from Leslie Friend. It's called Friend to Friend, and it's her capelet. And what I am doing is I'm still auditioning yarns for that. I have some leftovers from what mine original one was, and I am hoping that I have sufficient quantities. And so I'm going to knit, hopefully knitting this second one for me out of the leftovers. I hope that I have enough of that. But I also have a couple of others that I'm thinking. The original yarn that Leslie used was Hue and Me from Lion Brand. And so I ordered one to start with. And this to me is very green. If we had to bring them up, it's just green. The colorway is agave. And again, when you order online, that's what you get. But I think it's too green for the purposes of the Norway travel. I guess that's where I'm saying what I'm saying. So then my second option that I pulled, I had brought from mailed was from Wool & Co. And since we're going to be up there in just 10 days-ish, I think I'm going to hold off on it and then see what else they have. And maybe I could exchange it. But this is the other one. Has possibilities. In person, it really looks to me has more green to it. But I certainly could see that over, any of and going with the blue jeans as well, or the white top, or just over, jammies or just comfy shirts. So this may be an option if I don't have enough for that. And this colorway is sea glass. And I don't think that I'm going to get anything closer to that. So I wouldn't mind. And this is a possibility. This is a possibility. So I'm still kind of auditioning yarns. I've got them all sat there. Certainly the aqua one is the better. But I'm not sure I have enough of that left. So I'm just kind of thinking. And you really can't. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I'm auditioning that. Kind of playing around with that, and I'd love to have this ready to knit on next week as well. So that's one of the other knits that I have. And then unfortunately I have an ensemble, but unfortunately I can't find the first piece of the ensemble, but hopefully in future episodes I will have it. I knit the Kuma Cowl by Laura DeBratz. I knit that earlier this year. It's somewhere. I have Emma's yarn knitted out of Emma's yarn, Hella Hank, right? It was gift yarn, and I have both of them were gift long yarn. Geez, Penny, talk. Anyway, I knit Kuma Cowl out of this and the mohair that went with it in Riptide. And then if you remember last time, I knit the this is my muscle burl, so I have a muscle burl, and then I have enough, and I thought, and I'm going to go looking, that may be where it's at. I'm going to go looking for the mohair that was left, and also the, I think I have another skein of this. So anyway, I would like to make now mitts to go with this to wear when it's chilly, and so I have a couple of different thought plans out for that. One is the soccer mitts by Erica Luder. That was on my list. I have Jacoby. This was also on the list. There's also Leslie Friends has the Beatrice mitts, which I have done that one before. And I might do that because I know how those fit. So that's a thought process. And then Carolyn from our Saturday night Zoom with PJKnits people, she is doing the Point Edwards mitt from Farlight Fibers. It's a DK, so I would have to hold something else with my fingering weight. But the thing that I like about this mitt pattern is that the rib at the end is knit long, and then you can fold it. You can, it's knit and folded back on your hand, and then when your fingers you can just pull it out. So I'm really thinking that this is going to be the one. I'll just show you the pic. And so I think I'm really leaning heavily towards this one because I think that would be fun, and I just have to get the right yarn to go with it. I might have enough mohair to put with it, but if not, I know I have a different plain cream mohair. I might have to get one more skein of this mohair. Oh, anyway, thinking on that. So I also have on my list, I have a yarn that I bought from Sweet Skein of Mine, a sweaters quantity last year before, and some mohair that I got from my local yarn shop to match. And I was kind of thinking about knitting another lightweight, just throw over sweater, either lento or no frills, but I didn't pull either one of those things out because I'm not set on that. I still, if I get all these done, then maybe I will go back and revisit a sweater. But I do have sweaters and cardigans that I could take with me as layering pieces. So I do have those and I didn't want to haul those all out today. Also, I wouldn't mind knitting some more socks, but again, I also have some socks in teals and blacks and blues that will go perfect in with my ensemble, so I would not have to really worry anything about that. So, okay. And last of all, I showed the yarn on Instagram, but I've not talked about here, but this is one sweater that will come before the Lento and the no frills and all of that because, and I'm having a lot of fun with this. I had a lot of fun in the last week. It's also known as my Fiber Friday sweater. I worked on it on Fridays. And so I am working on it now. And this is Seachange. It's a Norwegian inspired pullover by Jennifer Steingass. And I wanted to buy the yarn that she knitted it out of and went on a search on Ravelry to see things that others had done, colorways, and honed in on a colorway that I loved. And so then I purchased the yarn that it was knit out of. This is BC Garn, Semilla Melange. It's 100% organic wool, 100% wool. And this is my main color. And this is going to be the color work at the top. And then this is going to be the accent I have. And I'll show you just a second. So those are my three colors. I am doing something that I only did one other time for the most part, is my swatch is my sleeve. And this is a bottom-up sweater, which I'm fine with. And so this particular one, I went with the size needles that she called for. I thought, what the heck? It's a sleeve, it's a small circumference, and that's going to be my swatch. And so, fun thing, it's been blocked partway and then blocked a second time. And so now I know, now I know what I want to do. And so here is my first one. I am loving this. Twofold. I love this. It also would have this at the bottom rib at the hem, and I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I'd rather just pull you up than have you look down. So I'm still on the fence about that, but here we are. I love this fabric. Love, love, love the fabric. Now, what I did is I blocked it entirely again, and I discovered this past weekend that even with the increases, and I've marked all my increases for the purposes of, my swatch, what I found a couple of things is I need more room starting at the elbow than was here. It's doable, but it's tight. It fits just my arm. And I know that it'll stretch a little bit more, but I like to have a lot of give underneath for my pelicans to fit in. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back to at least where this yellow one is. I may go in one back, and then I'm going to start those increases sooner rather than later. I did do that towards the end, made them quicker than normal after I got up a little ways, but I still found I really just want a little more. Now, interesting enough on this one, I know that I'm not getting row gauge, but generally I will stop for any kind of sleeve from the hem of the sleeve to the underarm at 16 3/4. And on this particular one, they call for 18. And when I tried it on at 17-ish, it still did not fit up. It still was really kind of bracelet length. And I think that I will have enough yarn. So I want it to be long sleeves. And so, and then she says to go to 18. And I'm going to try it on one more time before I rip back, but I think I want to like 20 for it to fit. When I put it on, it hit, just a couple of inches shy of there. And so I think I'm gonna try it one more time on my arm, and then and then make that decision. And I'm not too far off on gauge. It's like less than 1/3 of a stitch per. I figure about per. It wasn't per inch, maybe per 4 inches. So it wasn't a whole lot. So, and I thought about going up, which I may do that as well. I may go up 2 needle sizes and see what that stitch gauge gets me as well. Like I said, I know that I have sufficient yarn for this to play around with this on the sleeve. So I may do one of those two things, but this is one that I want to, I definitely want to be working on here at home. I love the feel of this yarn. New to me yarn for sure. It's made in Turkey. 100% wool. Organic wool. I just love it. I love the feel. I love right now the fabric I'm getting with the yarn. So I may not want to go up any needle sizes. I may just back it out here and do those increases further. I may just do that because I'm liking what I've got, and then that way I will have more stitches at the underarm, but I'm okay with that. So this is my swatch anyway. So that is Seachange, and that's something that I really would like to have done for Norway. And I see no reason why I won't, because the sleeve went fast when I was working on it. So anyway, that is all that I have for you today. And I want to say so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming back. And thank you for sticking around and listening. I am just a real quicker here. I'm going to look at something that I want to tell you about. Oh, YouTube crashed. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We are at 995 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to each one of you again for coming and sitting here and listening to me ramble about knitting. Next stop, Makers Meetup. So excited. Next episode, my first episode in August. Next one will be with Kendra. We'll talk about the Makers Meetup, do a little rehash of that. The first one in August, I'm planning on telling you what I'm thinking about taking to Norway to knit on. So again, if you have hints or tips for long travel for somebody who has not flown long distance or flown in quite some time, I'd love to know your thoughts. Or if you're going on this trip, wouldn't that be so much fun? Anyway, I will list down below all the places you can get a hold of me. I am PJ Knits on Instagram. I am PJ Knits 1 in the Ravelry projects. Our group is PJ Knits. My blog is www.pjknits.blogspot.com. And my email is pjknitspodcast@gmail.com. And so, until next time, I hope you are excited about your knitting, and I hope that you are choosing joy this week and going forward. So until next time, bye. I will.